What up, Pittsburgh Steelers fans? Matty P, Marky D. It is preseason football. Bring it on after no football for months. Marky D, you're more pumped than me. How are you doing, my friend?
Man, it's like Christmas. That's why we meet me, Christian, Mr. I can't say it yet. It's like 17 seconds in. I can't say his name. But number 46, I'm keen. Like, football's back. I don't care if it's preseason. Football's back, man.
That's
I'm
it,
keen.
man. That's it. Let's go. Here we go. And look, it's just an exciting time, mate. Like, there's been all this off-season stuff. Yeah, there's Daredevil in the live chat. There's been all the off-season stuff. There's been all the Khan artist moves. There's been the drafting of all the rookies. I mean, I said it before in the description of the show. Which rookie are you looking out for? Which rookie for you today? That's the guy you're watching. If you know if there was a player cam, you're logged on Benton.
Yeah, I was thinking about this today. I did a little video on Steel Laws. I'm thinking like, okay, there's JPJ, there's Jones, there's that kind of guys. But I think Benton, if he makes like a sack or a tackle or a good play in the backfield, I feel like that's going to be like, okay, this team can be something because he's going to be a key depth role, I think, for the season. So, and I want to see like his physicality, man. Someone called him the dancing bear. I think he's had a good camp. But in all seriousness though, like I think this rookie class is kind of fun to watch, like from JPJ to pretty much all of them, right? So, but my guy is Benton. I'm gonna watch today.
Yeah, nice. My one is gonna be, I think everyone's gonna watch Darnell, but I personally am gonna be watching. I'm saying this. I'm gonna be watching Joey Porter Jr. Man, Joey Porter Jr. or Spencer Anderson. It just depends how much time Spencer Anderson gets. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy there with Joey Porter Jr. I want to see how he fits in the mix. I want to see him shut a few people down. Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good, especially like if Evans is playing and they mark him up on Evans, big body receiver. So they've got some tight ends as well. But yeah, I mean, Joey Porter Jr. could make life very difficult for Baker Mayfield very quickly if he's batting away balls and locking people down and covering people and press coverage. That's the other thing, I'm interested to see what they do in press coverage because whilst they played a lot of man last year, they didn't play as much press as what people think they did. And then they bring in Joey Porter Jr. to do that. So now I'm like, yeah, okay, how's this actually practically going to work?
It's funny though that you have that Baker, was a Brown for a long time and got smashed by the Steelers in his first this is his first season as a Buck, right? Did he play there last year? No,
because he was at the Rams. He was the backup of the Rams.
That's right. Yeah. So he's like his first, like he's got to be the starter, right? And here he is starting, and then he's versus the Steelers. It's like, welcome back, mate.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad news for him.
I think I'm keen just for. I think overall, like we talked about, I think last week, and I did the video on like the overall hype now is can the hype match the reality? And we're going to see that today. And that's physicality, that's the play calling, all that kind of stuff. I think I saw there was a tweet out there that Tomlin may have said that Kenny's doing one drive. I expect one or two drives from Kenny.
Depends if it's a 3 and out though, or if they don't go anywhere, or like people get stuffed in the backfield. Like my thing's like over and under 3 drives, and I think it'll be a push. I think he'll do 3 drives, but it depends what they do if they score points. Like if they go down the field on 2, if he does 2 drives, let's say the first drive they kick a field goal and they get pretty close. They're like, oh, we want to see what he would have done in the red zone, right? So then they go again and then they kick another field goal. That's probably it. But then if they don't kick another field goal, they might bring themselves out again because it depends also how far the drive goes for, right? Let's say the Steelers are on defense, they intercept the ball, and Kenny's only driving into the end zone. 40 yards. Like you want to see the different mix of the wide receivers pretty quickly, I reckon. But that's just my personal view. That's what's going to happen. I
don't think you'll see more than a quarter. I think you'll see like maybe 2 or 3 or something like that, but not more than a quarter. But I think they said they're going to try and play most of the quarterbacks too. We're going to see all the quarterbacks. We might see all the quarterbacks today. But in saying that, Tomlin says these things, and then next minute, as the game progresses, they might not do that plan. It's always going to change. I'm looking forward to though. I want to see like the hype around McFarland too. I think his like camp's been really big. So can he translate that to another team? I think overall like the blocking schemes and like to see those kind of plays. And didn't you say last week there's like 50 or something players that joined the team? So
yeah,
I'm trying to players. See. Yeah, I think just seeing the team like wearing the uniform, and I think as well I saw when I woke up today. because I woke up like 6. I don't know if you woke up real early. I woke up at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
I saw that over there in Tampa, it's really hot. Like it's like 95 degrees, which is like
Well, this is the
fall.
interesting thing is like, what's that weather going to be like? Because they usually do play a preseason. Yeah, last year we had the Jags, and it was visibly hot. Like those players were struggling at the end of that game. That's the other thing too. They got it. You might see more from starters than you realize because of cramps. If people start cramping up and stuff like that, like they're going to have to manage the heat and maybe see more of the starters at the start so that the guys that they want to bring on later in the game, like the second and the third string guys, you can't have them play a full game or 3/4 of the game because they just don't have that conditioning yet.
Mm. Yeah, it's and like you said, I think a few weeks to go too, you're like, we start in the hot period and then we work our way into the cold. That is the really, super cold, snowy games into December. So this is pretty much like, I know I keep saying it, like the draft was the beginning, the training camp was the beginning, but this feels like the actual beginning, the real beginning. You know?
This is kickoff. This is let's get going because and a lot of people are like, oh, but does the preseason matter? My client talks about that a lot with Pat McAfee. Yeah, it matters. And the in between week of the bye that exists now between preseason and the start of the season, that is not at the start of the season because you're cutting players, you're bringing the guys in that you've picked up on the waiver wire or other free agents, you're getting ready, you're resting guys, you're getting prepped. So it's I think it's pretty crazy. Like Pittsburgh Dottie said, on one hand, I'm excited to see how the starters do. On the other, I'm kind of nervous about injuries. That's how I kind of feel as well. Like, but players I was thinking about this the other day. Players got to play, man. Like
they have to play. And
even if someone goes down today, touch wood, they 100% don't. If someone goes down today, like 3.5 weeks is till the season. If you break a bone, you are back usually in 6 weeks. They will be back pretty early, right? Now, I'm not saying I want any Steeler player to get injured, right? That's not what I'm saying. But it's also, but at the same time, if you're going to have an injury at any time of the year, now's when you want it. And number two, as well, you've got guys. You can go and get the guy that fixes the problem. We don't want Big Ben week 1 injury against the Seahawks, or week 2 injury against the Seahawks, right? That derails your campaign. But anyway, let's stop talking about injuries because that's how they happen.
The thing is, to me though, I think you need preseason. If we didn't have preseason and we had the first week 1 was the game, then
how bad would the football be?
Steeler Yinzers would be like, this is terrible. It's terrible football. Like this, we hate this. So you can never win. I saw a comment on Twitter the other day and said, some guy wrote, what are the Yinzers complaining about today? There's always something. There's always something that's people complaining about. But this season, of course, this feels different to me. I don't care.
Also, but it's great for people, like as Jennifer says in the live chat. Families here to watch the game, want to check in and say hello. We'll make sure you check in with Marky D's live stream as well, Jennifer. So we should say that too. Marky D will be doing a live stream. You're setting that up. That'll be ready to kick off in the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that.
That's what it's about, mate. It's about family, football, community, Steelers. That's what it's about at the end of the day. Like analytics aside and saying this guy's the best, that guy sucks. Or actually, you can say that a lot when you're watching the Bungles, but it's about getting around, having beers, and watching the game. Realistically, that's what it is about, right? You and I meet up, watch the game, watch Manly, watch the Steelers. We want to see our team win. And that's what you want to do. So I know there's is this guy the best? Is he the greatest? No, you want to see TJ Watt smash someone and you want to see Najee run over someone. That's what it's about to me. It's football, community, family, have burgers, have beers and pizza and drink and just chill and watch the game and win, basically.
That's it. I have not moved the special Christmas Steelers ornament. It still sits on the shelf, pointed the same way. It has not moved. And while it has not moved, Kenny Pickett hasn't lost the game.
How long's it been there?
It's been there since the not the Ravens game because he got hit that one. Raiders game. It's been the same spot, pointed at the same direction. Wow. Like it's off the tree. It was on the tree. It's moved like 45 centimeters.
Does today count being preseason or not?
Yes.
It's still, even if he's going to start one drive, it still counts for a win.
Yes, because it's he's on the field. It's going now. Maybe they lose today, then I probably will keep it there because it might not be his fault. Yeah, I don't know. I've got.
Are we going to get our predictions near the end? Because even though it's preseason, I think actually today's game, when you think about it, the Steelers have a
actually no. Let's go into it. Do you think because I want to unpack why you think one thing or the other? What's a rough score line or like score range
I think actually the Steelers can score. I think they're going to score more points. I've got 27-10. That's what I've got.
It's a lot of
27-10. I think the
points.
defense will play. It's played better. Like all the depth pieces will play like some good reps. I think quarterback wise, Trubisky has to score a touchdown on his drive. He needs to, and Rudolph will probably get some points too. And like Kenny's drive too will get a TD. So I reckon 27 with like a few TDs and then a few field goals, and then the defense will. Baker won't. I don't think Baker will score on us on our. Depends on who's up for defense, but I think he does anything. And is it Kyle Trask or Trask? Yeah, I don't know if he can score points on us too. But it is their home, so they might score more points. But
I had something in my mind. I was thinking that it's going to be something like a 20. I had 24 or 26-16. Like they get one TD and 3 field goals.
Yeah. That'd be right.
But I could also see him blowing them out. It just depends. It'll depend on how bad the Bucks' offense is, really, and how ready. Not how good we know the Steelers' defense is good. How ready the Steelers' defense is, and how I guess unready or unprepared the Bucks' offense is, because that's the thing. This offense for the Bucks looks horrific.
Do you think though, like all the training camp videos you've seen, that the physicality they've shown, all that kind of stuff, and they're all like the last 14 days, 2 weeks, or whatever. Do you think that's gonna translate into the game though? I think it will this year. I think it really will.
That's the thing. I think other teams. I've heard this before. Actually, this is before the stuff this year. I've heard before that some teams come into the preseason and it's usually week 2 or week 3, and particularly week 4 when they had that. No, it was week 2, week 3, because even in the week 4 game it scaled back. And they'd say the Steelers have played so much in pads. There's a different level of physicality in the preseason. Because remember there was that narrative a couple of years back with why the Steelers taking preseason so carefully, kind of thing. Why are the Steelers taking preseason so seriously? Do you remember that? It was about 2 or 3 years ago. That was coming out. One of the teams said this is ridiculous. Like
you have to take it seriously. If you don't,
100%, you're playing physical football. When you don't take it seriously, that's when you get injured.
Yeah. Everyone I was talking to Merrill Hodge the other day on the podcast, he talked about that. If you don't, you got to go through your reps 100%. If you don't do that, there's no point in doing the rep. And I think that's the same with preseason. I don't care if it's preseason. I think these guys are fighting for jobs. And if you
DJ was talking about that as well this week when he was at Seals camp. He said he gave an example of the
DJ Deontay Johnson,
Daniel Jeremiah. Yeah. And he was talking about a rep when Najee slipped over. I can't remember. I think it was against Herbig or something like that. Anyway, he slips over, gets back up, and then tries to blow the. Couldn't have been a backer because. Yeah, it must have been because it was backs and backers. Anyway, tried to blow against the block with a sort of a chicken wing move. And DJ was like, that's a different thing. It's like in any other training camp around the league, a player that goes down, if you're a running back, they'd be like, okay, cool, I'll just fix it the next rep. No, Najee Harris gets back up, still tries to win the rep. He's like, that is a different level of focus, dedication, taking the rep seriously. You have to continue to compete. There was he talked about another one as well like that. So pretty crazy. But Jennifer Perusa says, my granddaughter says, I can't wait to see TJ Watt, and he may not play or will hardly play. He'll play. He'll do something. They'll have him out there.
You think he plays? I don't know if he plays today. You think he plays one snap or one drive?
Yeah, I
don't know.
Not necessarily full drive. You know what they might do though? If they put him out there, they might put him out there in an experimental scheme sub package, something like that. It might not want to be traditional line him out, where it needs to be. But if he misses this game, I don't care. I'd rather that load him up for week 2 than let him peter down and then you bring him back ready for the season. This is what I talked about in the 5 problems the Steelers need to solve, which sticks there even after this game, because they're probably not going to solve every one of those problems in this game. Put that show out yesterday. I talked about that. Who's the third pass rusher, right? We've had a problem with third pass rusher, and everyone's talked about Golden and Herbig. Cool. Now I want to see it actually on the field. I'm sick of hearing about, this is the hype. This is it. You did it. Can the Steelers match their off-season hype show this week as well? You know what? And, we're the first ones to talk about people on paper and stats and all the rest of it. I want to see it on field now. I'm sick of hearing, we got this guy, we got good depth. I want to see the depth on the field.
It's been 6 months of this, though. You know what I mean? So, it's been a long time since the draft. And, we finally, what's the key themes? We haven't got a third down rusher. We haven't got a third down back. and we haven't got.
We don't have a backup strong safety. We don't have a coverage
linebacker,
linebacker.
stuff, right?
We don't have a guaranteed number 2 tight end. And we're not being negative. These are the things that the preseason is there to solve. Brian Brown says, "Do you think the Buccaneers will show up looking like a bunch of creams?"
They're actually bringing those uniforms back. I think. The Buccaneers franchise lost like 21 games in a row to start their franchise. Did you know that? I think.
Yeah. But then they had early season success. They had early early franchise success with Dungy and Tomlin.
Could you imagine being on that team when it first started and you lose all those games in a row? I think it was like 2.5 years they lost every game.
Let me look crazy.
It up.
Which is funny too, because in other American sports, like the Kraken have done really well.
They're done really well. And
same as the Golden Knights have done really well, right? In the NHL. Oklahoma came in and took everyone by storm. Well, I mean, that was moving from Seattle, so it's a bit different. But I mean, Charlotte's never done anything when they were the Hornets or the Pelicans. Didn't MJ sell out of that? Anyway, back to Steel football. What did Toddy say? I think my cat saw the Steelers game's coming up. I can exude a certain energy prior to games, and they pick up.
There you go. 5. Just swinging a towel. If that cat's swinging a towel, I'm done. Where's my towel at? It's like
give that video to us, Pittsburgh Toddy, because that'll go viral.
This cat's got a helmet. It's got a helmet wearing it. It's holding a football.
I love it.
It's back, baby. It is back. It's good.
Yeah,
you know what the best thing I like about that it's back? I just like seeing the uniform again. You know what I mean? Just the game is like the players are the players, but I just like seeing the team back. Just the team.
You know what I also like? I like the fact that what I like about preseason compared to the season. This is going to sound a weird thing to say. Yeah, and I know Blue Nose still had. They set them out. Yeah, exactly. I know. That's a cool tat. Is that a tat or just a picture? Oh, it's cool in your image there. But your little profile image. But what I was going to say was what I love about preseason football different to the season. There's a bit less pressure. It's kind of a bit more fun. There's a bit more of this like I'm a bit more chill about it. Like in terms of I'm not going to sit there at the end of the fourth quarter like biting my nails. Like I want them to get a win, but I'm not going to sit there and like throw something at my TV if they lose. Not that I've thrown something at my TV if they have lost, but I've been very tempted before.
Yeah, I guess so. Because when you're watching your game, like every week counts. Because if you're losing games in the season, you can't make the playoffs. And then if you are getting to the playoffs, and then you do make the playoffs. I sound like Madden right now doing like a play. But when you make the playoffs and you there's more pressure to win that game. You know what I mean? Like every game in the season, you're always on this edge of your seat. And for us, we are like 100%.
100%.
When's the last Tomlin's been this one time he has like 2 games in his career that has been meaningless football to get into the playoffs or something like that?
Yeah.
He couldn't get in there or some stat like that. So I know what you mean because I like it the preseason because you see all the players too. You see the guys like Luke.
And last year was so cool with just Pickett. It was like, when's Pickett going to come? When's Pickett coming? Now we've got like, it doesn't matter whether the offense or the defense is on. Darnell, JPJ, Broderick Jones, like.
Now we got, when's Tanner Morgan going to come in? When's Tanner Morgan going to come in? Morgan. He's going to play today too, man. He'll play and we're going to get.
Yeah, he will play. He will play. Maybe Mason Rudolph doesn't. Maybe Trubisky. You know what? That could be it. Like Trubisky plays like Kenny Pickett and Trubisky are both out by midway through the second quarter. And then it's Mason from the second to the end of the third.
Yeah, do you want to risk your backup? Why would you want to risk your backup?
Correct. Yeah. So I think you'll see over a quarter from Mason, and you'll see like at least a quarter, or most of a quarter, if not a quarter, from Tanner Morgan, because they know what they got. But I got to bring this up because you've got the mini helmets. Pittsburgh Toddy says I've got mini helmets for the Cats, but they won't wear them. And then still out west is like War Cat. See, this is what we love. Blue Nose. It's an image on roaded image on steel. Cool. I like it. Roaded image on wood. What am I saying? Stuart West says, "What's up? After watching the latest installment of The Standard, I'm now a big Presley Harvin fan. Love his P227 car." Yeah, he could be fighting for a job as well. So
you reckon? I don't know, dude. I don't know. You think? I think it's like a.
All right, but objectively as a fan, right? He's a punter. He's never done any of the special plays that we talked about of like a 250-pound punter, right? Never done that.
Fullback. Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, never done that. Braden Mann has a better overall average than him in his career. So who do you trust?
Well, I get. I'm not going to answer that question because I'm too stubborn. I was gonna say we gotta put on the field. You gotta see who's better on the field, pretty much, right? You need to see who's a better player. But I just think that what he's got with number 46 Kuntz and Boswell, those three are a unit together.
Brian Brown says, I've got no mini helmets. The machine stole my quarter. That sounds like it's a funny story. I want to know about that one. But I got a mini helmet. I got an all-colorish mini helmet that I got when I was in Japan. I wanted a souvenir. I found the only NFL shop in Japan, and I bought a Steelers cap and a Steelers helmet.
Did you talk to the guy or the girl behind the counter? Did they know about the
How's
NFL?
this? So no, there's a full NFL shop. They've got because they play American football over it. They actually play American football over it. So you could buy shoulder pads, and they have all the jerseys, they college stuff. I walk in, guess what's playing? One screen, highlights of the Steelers from 2 years ago, and on the other screen was highlights of the Longhorns, which are the college team I like, right? I was like, this is insane. I just walked in there after some lunch one day. I'm like, I just wanted to see what it was like. But they had a lot of old kit. There's a lot of old player jerseys in there.
I wonder if is there any Japanese players that come into play in the NFL? I haven't heard of any come over.
I've never heard of any. They're pretty good at rugby. I played against some. We had some Japanese exchange students, and man, they hit you hard. They're lean.
I just know how dedicated they are to sport and their education. Like I knew a guy we hosted here when I was in year 8, and he had Saturday school. School on Saturdays, and he did all these tennis and stuff. He was always very militant, I guess, in his approach.
Yeah, we had Saturday. I must have went Saturday ones. Oh, it's a semi-pro league. Are you talking about Japan, Gavin? Yeah, they're really good at baseball. They're going at baseball.
I didn't have Saturday school. Maybe that's the way I turned out.
Why no Japanese cats in the league?
You know?
I don't know what that means. Yeah, I had to do Saturday sport. I did Saturday sport, but I did that.
Did you have Saturday school where you actually went to school?
Did homework and stuff. Not if you got if you got a detention, there was a 1 hour detention after school. Sometimes you could get a 3 hour detention, and a 3 hour detention was Saturday morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
God. Yeah. I don't know about that. I just. Anyways, good old school.
Back to the Steelers. We've gone into Japanese cats in helmets, and this is a pre-game show unlike any other.
That's all because it's Toddy's fault, man. You talk about his cat. Doing these ones.
Let's talk about the dogs. I actually bought my dog a Steelers jersey, and it hardly fit, and we couldn't get it off, so we had to cut it off.
No way. It was stuck there.
But he has a Steelers military, not harness, a wet weather coat thing. He doesn't like putting it on, though. So,
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He looks cool in it, though. It's mad. It's just he's got Steelers logo on one side, the K9 unit on the other. Anyway.
I shouldn't laugh at that.
I'm just not gonna go there. Gavin Anthony says, I think all you guys were talking about Green in the live chat. Reject guard, embrace fullback. 100%. It'll be interesting to see what Kendrick Green does. How disappointed a fan's going to be, there's no lining him up at fullback.
If nothing happens, then I guess the story will kind of whittle away. However, I feel like the Steelers might even give him one carry just to keep it going, because it's good media attention.
But it's a good narrative. And I know, Mark, you got to jump soon. I'll continue to go on while you set up the live stream for everyone. But I want to leave this one. So I was listening during the week to, I think it was DJ. Yeah, I think it was DJ was talking about, Daniel Jeremiah with Bucky. And they were talking about the fact that last year, one of the plays that they scored a touchdown on, that the Chiefs scored a touchdown on in the Super Bowl that won them the game, was a play that they did at the start of the year that they practiced a lot in preseason. They did it in week 2 or week 4, then didn't do it. And when they were asked afterwards, they were like, we saw this early. Some smart ass person in the media picked up on it and said, hang on, I remember this play from back in this game. How come you waited all the way to the Super Bowl to do it properly? And they didn't score off it when they did it earlier in the season. And they said, that's why we have so many plays we install in the preseason that we practice, so that we've got stuff later in the season that people have forgotten about, but we've been drilling it in. And that's kind of the thing. There's a lot of different things the Steelers have done, and people have been like, I don't know why they're doing that, or they haven't done that before, or when are they going to do that? That's what one of these things could be. What happens if there is a Hayward injury? What happens if they're playing a run-heavy game down the stretch, And then Kendrick, we haven't seen any of Kendrick for like 4 months,
No.
and then out comes Kendrick Green swinging around going boom, right? And that's the game-winning drive, like it's a game-winning play or something like that. That's why these things are interesting sort of narratives.
So what you're saying is Matt Canada's been holding off for 2 years. 2 years.
that's it.
All right, I'm gonna get out of here. You guys keep chilling.
Yeah,
And
keep going. So, guys, hit me with a bunch of questions. Marky D will throw the link in.
I'll see you later. I'll see you on my.
I'm keen to keep talking about it.
See you, mate.
See you, mate. What about some score predictions? What are we thinking here from the Bucks? Like, are they going to score any points? Like, part of me is like, I reckon. As I said to Mark, 16. Maybe you get 3 field goals. Maybe they scrape together a touchdown. But I don't see a touchdown. I can't. I can't fathom it from this offense from the Bucks. Pittsburgh Toddy says, I might try terrible towels as capes on them, but I got to get some beer. Let's go Steelers. Love it. Enjoy the game. Steelers Blue Nose Steelhead says, I'm going to get that right. Sorry, I keep saying Steelhead before. I'm thinking Steelhead before I'm thinking Blue Nose. I'm doing the Deontay Johnson. I'm thinking about where I'm going to run before I've caught the ball. But Blue Nose Steelhead says 28-17. Yeah, that's pretty good scoreline, I reckon. Gavin Anthony says, yeah, so you're 24-17, a bit like my 24-16 kind of pace, but that would be 2 touchdowns. So that's possible. They have an okay running game. That would be awesome. Oh, is this for the Capes? I don't know. J Devil says 24-13. How to skip that one? Yeah, that's probably one of the more realistic scores. I'd be happy. The defense could hold them to 13 and experiment, because you got to remember the preseason, you got an experimental offense. There's a lot of things the Steelers won't have seen from them. They don't know what Baker's going to do. He'll scramble a bit. Kyle Trask has a decent arm, actually. So you don't know what they're going to scheme up. Likewise, they don't know what the Steelers are going to scheme up. Pittsburgh Toddy, 13-0. Yeah, see, when Mark asked me before, I was kind of thinking about this the other day, and I was like, is this going to be like a 9-3, a 9-6? Like, particularly if they do only let Kenny play like one drive, get the field goal, done and dusted, see you later, get out of the game, no injuries. They want to install what they want to install with the offensive line and the defensive line. Maybe that's it. So, yeah, I think that I wouldn't be shocked to see a score line like that. That's definitely the case. All right, what about this one? Over or under 1 touchdown from Kenny Pickett? I'd love to see what you think about that in the live chat. Part of me thinks we're going to see, last year we saw the Jags game. He had that awesome throw to DJ that was called back for a penalty. I think it was to DJ that was called back for a penalty, and it was down the middle, down the center of the field on the DJ. It was slightly left of center of the field, but it was definitely still in the center part of the field. And I love that throw because I talked about the importance of drafting Kenny Pickett over Malik Willis, because Malik Willis can't throw in the center of the field. Kenny Pickett was really accurate there. Big Ben really didn't throw into the center of the field the last 3 to 5 years of his career. So I love that from Kenny. So I think we've all talked about wanting to see more deep ball from Kenny. That's what I'm keen to see in this game. Do we get to see a couple of deep balls from Kenny now? Do we get to see Allen Robinson and George Pickens stretch the field? I actually think as well, I don't think George Pickens is going to play as much in this game as what people realize. They're going to want to see Allen Robinson in this offense. They're going to want to see a lot of Calvin Austin. I can't believe Mark and I talked for 25 minutes plus, and we didn't talk about Calvin Austin the third, his first game, really for the Steelers. And also they're going to want to work out this battle between Akeem Butler and Jordan Bird and Miles Boykin. Can Gunner fight for a spot? Mark's been on that train of Cam Gunner fight for a spot. I'm just like, cut Gunner, save the cat, move on. But maybe he fights for a spot, so it's pretty interesting. And, if they've had Steve Smith at camp, it's not the most unsimilar body type to Gunnar Olszewski anyway. But Bruno Steelhead, hey, I got it right. First time off the punt at this time. But he says, I expect communication issues in the backfield a bit with so many new faces. So, yeah, we didn't get that. I didn't get to that when I was talking with Mark, but I feel like the run game overall is something on offense that I want to see. I think where there's a lot of new people in the receiving game between the fullbacks and the tight ends and the wide receivers. So I'm kind of like thinking that from that perspective, it's not going to be clean to begin with, but from the perspective of the running game, we've got to see that. Particularly, you want to see Warren made a name for himself in the offseason last year, or the preseason last year, I should say, You want to see that from McFarland Jr. this year. I want to see all this hype we've heard over the last fortnight or so. I want to see that transition through. I want to see those performances. I want to see him not trip over his own feet. I want to see him not get injured. We need that to happen for him to be able to be a quality third running back on the depth chart as well, and a bit of a different sort of. I mean, Jalen Warren is a change of pace to Najee Harris, but there's also some burning speed that McFarland has that those boys don't. Jedel says Pickett to Pickens, 30-yard TD before they get taken out. Gavin, I was pretty sure that he was starting. So is there something that's broken recently that changes that game? Because I would be surprised with how many limited reps he's actually technically had in his career. He's not playing. So maybe he's pulled up with an injury. But nah. So 1 hour ago, NBC Sports say Steel's plan for Kenny Pickett to play one series tonight. So he's playing. There we go. But yeah, I don't think it will be deep. But as I said to Marky D, if it sort of flutters and stutters, I could see them play Kenny Pickett for more than one drive, or maybe there you go, Jedable. Yeah, I don't have it in front of me. So I don't know about you guys, but I know that it's different between all the cable stuff in the US. Over international fans, we have this whole thing with DAZN or DAZN Sports. I'm calling it DAZN because it's freaking dazed and confused. They don't even no, all good, Gavin. I thought you never know. We kick off these shows so in the morning. Maybe I got something wrong. But agree, we'll see more of him in week 2. So that's a great point that you bring up. But yeah, Mark's put into zone sucks. I'm calling it dazed. It's dazed and confused. You can't get it working on anything. It doesn't do 4K. We've got streaming services in Australia that have a tenth of the viewers, and you get freaking 4K streaming. I used to get 4K streaming from the NFL app. Now I don't. And the app doesn't even work half the time. So, hopefully Mark and I can watch this game if we can figure out this stupid program that the NFL now uses for Game Pass outside America. But back to the game, and I think a lot of people are starting to head off there. But I think, yeah, Gavin, it doesn't even do 4K. No 4K. I've gone from watching Big Ben in 4K for like 4 or 5 years, and the Steelers in 4K. Everything else, I can watch college football in my country in 4K, and I'm now not going to be able to watch the Steelers this season in 4K. It is absolutely wild. It is the most ridiculous. Like how the NFL thinks that's acceptable in 2023 is just ludicrous. Anyway. But moving on to the defensive side as well. I want anyone in the live chat over and under on interceptions for the Steelers. That's going to be pretty crazy. Brian Brown says, I'm out. Here we go. Destroy the Bucs. I know it's preseason, but I got to practice for that. I love it. Don't forget, guys, Marky D will be doing the live stream. So even if you jump out now, make sure you refresh your YouTube feed and get in there in that live chat as well, because I know you guys are going to want to go watch the game. But there'll be the quarter breaks. There'll be the ad breaks. You want to be listening to Marky D when that's happening. And at halftime, if not the whole time, have it on in the background. He is pumped. Marky D's like, maybe he works today. So, yeah, I can imagine what you're doing right now, man. Yeah, you're hating it. 3 picks. Okay, Blue Nose. And who do you think are going to do those? Because remember we had Norwood so close to a number of picks 2 years ago when he debuted from the Steelers. I think Levi Wallace could be in that mix. There you go. Does Patrick Peterson, live chat, does Patrick Peterson get an interception preseason game 1? Imagine that. Imagine that's his coming to the Steelers moment. Does JPJ get a pick? That could be pretty interesting. And I don't think we're going to see much from Minka today either. I think that's going to be. I'm also keen to see Holcomb. We're keen to see everyone, but there's some of these newer, really key pieces in the team that we really want to see. Come in, perform, seamless transition. Is it buffering, mate, or is it actually playing? Because I'm worried if it's buffering, because we otherwise we've got Chromecast. All right, he's like, see you, mates. So that's good. JPJ Blue Nose. Okay, JPJ gets the interception. Man, wouldn't that be a moment? I mean, he's been doing it a lot in training camp too with the pads. So that's been a real plus. I think for a lot of fans, particularly because he finished his college career with only like 2 interceptions. But a lot of people talked about there were a lot of other plays that were disrupted, and he was around the ball. And don't read into that. That's reading into stats over watching what's on tape, which people can do from time to time, even myself included. So yeah, pretty crazy. Marky D, let us know when you've got the live stream so we can all port over. Bruno says, Pat P said he's just trying to get out healthy, and if he gets a pick, he's taking a knee. Yeah, totally. No need to overextend yourself on the play here. Plus, think about it strategically. It makes sense. This is a veteran type of thing to say. If you take the knee, you give the chance for the offense to start further back, and you would never do that in in-season football. But that gives the offense time to actually practice. But like, go through what a preseason is there to do. Run through their plays, get guys familiar, get snaps, get raps. I love it. So yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, and that's a really good insight. I actually hadn't heard that. Doesn't surprise me. It sounds like a very Pat P thing to say. But yeah, and it's also funny, like if you were a Corey Trice, who's obviously now out for the season, getting an interception, you kind of want to see him running back. We don't need Patrick Peterson running it back and tearing a calf because, or if he's get cramping and then tearing a muscle near the cramp, even if it's a minor tear, because he's tried to run something back in the heat. It's just, we just don't need that sort of stuff. We want these guys to come out unscathed. So yeah, I think we're all aligned there. What about sacks? Do we have an over and under on sacks? Because I think they could rip this team apart. I'm calling the over on 4 sacks. So I'm interested to see what anyone in the live chat wants to say about sacks, because I want to see Baker Mayfield running for his life. I just do. And I think Golden and Herbig, I think he's going to surprise some people. I've been on record the last couple of weeks for like how much, Herbig might be able to take the spot with Golden, and what does that mean for Golden? People said, "Oh, we aren't trading Matty, you're kidding," and all this sort of stuff. But stay tuned for Herbig. Like, this could be really something. I mean, that could be a 4th round pick that we absolutely look back on and go, what a freaking steal. Purely because of the scheme that Wisconsin plays versus other teams, but Steelers really appreciate the Wisconsin scheme. So it's something a bit different there. You got 5 sacks, Blue Nose. Ooh, I like it. You're calling the over on the 4. You're talking about getting to the football. What about a forced fumble? I don't think that's something. The Steelers had 19 interceptions last year, top of the league. I want to see more forced fumbles. I want to see more of these bone-jarring hits. Now, guys wrap the ball up different. There's a lot of players, there's a lot of rules that have changed that affect how much you see fumbles. But I want to see that hard-hitting defense where people are almost fumbling it because they're anticipating getting the ball knocked out of their hands. That's something I want to see, because, these are the game-changing plays as well. Because forced fumbles, unlike interceptions where you sort of get up, you bring it down, the field starts to set and comes back at you. A fumble, half the players on both teams will be looking the other way to where the ball ends up with the way it works. So pretty crazy. Marky D's just messaged me. He said Dazen isn't working, but I think he's still having the live stream regardless. So we'll keep going as you guys get prepared. Blue Nose, what's your since you're being the MVP of the live chat today, what is your favorite in-game snack or food? Mark and I talked about pizzas before. I've talked about brisket. I've talked about the fact, because of the international time zone, sometimes we actually do a big breakfast cook-up for games. That I'd love to know what your favorite in-game sort of food is that you watch, like you eat when you're watching Steelers, because like food makes a big difference when you're watching football and all sport. So yeah, let me know in that live chat. All right. Well, another couple of things I'm looking for in today's game is, can Matt Canada call a diverse? Yeah, there's enough carbs in it; it kind of counts. But I love that. What a comment back. But the other thing I'm looking for today is like versatility, variety in the Steelers offense from Matt Canada. I don't want to see, we just only see sweeps, or we only see like the same, boring plays. I think that's going to really annoy Steelers fans. But the cohesion in the linebackers too, because remember last year we had Brian Flores. He's gone off to be defensive coordinator at the Vikings. We no longer have him in there. And so really from that perspective is, can the new coaches in Curry and the outside linebacker coaches escape me? But can those guys, with all the new players and all the new changes in both of those, departments of the outside linebackers and the inside linebackers or middle linebackers, Can there be cohesion, particularly in stopping the run? That's where when there's a break. It's different when you're rushing the passer, but when that breaks down, it becomes very obvious very quickly. And we all know as Steel fans, in years gone past, particularly in the last 5, we've had issues stopping the run. So I really want to see that element of the Steelers defense turn out to play, turn up on time. And by turn up on time, I mean get to the football on time, not sitting back there ball watching like freaking Devin Bush. He'd go enjoy doing that in the Seahawks, Devin Bush. But I really want to see that from them as well. I think that's really important because we talk a lot about improving the secondary with Peterson and JPJ and everything they're doing there. But the run game, stopping the run game has got to be absolutely huge. Blue Nose says pizza. Devil says the MJ. What am I from, the 50s and 60s? I think that's the only way. You got to be careful because of YouTube and they kill the algorithm. But Blue Nose says, sadly, Cam Hayward said play call is still pretty enough from Canada so far. Hopefully, adds more in season. Yep, if he doesn't, I think he's out. Michael O'Malley, he's having the same as Daredevil. Beer, leftover pork loin. I like cold pork, man. Cold pork is good. And not necessarily pulled pork. But yeah, even pork chop, man. I'm out on pork chops for dinner. Pork chops with applesauce. I like that. That's a good call, Michael O'Malley. That is a really good call. Really good call. I love it. Absolutely love it. Good to see you in live chat, mate. Michael O'Malley, what player are you looking out for today? Checking the live chat. I'm keen to. You've always got an interesting take. So love that. Let me see before. I want to know when we're porting over to Marky D's live chat. But yeah, jumping back to it from my perspective, something Spencer Anderson. So I'm pretty keen to see Spencer Anderson. Now, I just showed him a while back. I can link that if people want it in the comments. But Spencer Anderson, even when he was drafted, I thought he could be the backup center, what they were looking for doing. We talked about Kendrick Green. So Michael O'Malley talked about 53 at fullback there. And Spencer Anderson, could he be the center? He actually started his career at Maryland at tackle, and he's played across all 5 positions on the Steelers offense in practices, some padded by all reports. But I've watched a bit of tape on Spencer Anderson, and he is a very good guard. And interestingly, he's kind of better on the right, I think, than the left. But from that perspective, are the Steelers going to try him at different positions and see which sticks? Can he snap the football? Or is he a guard here that flies under the radar? Because it's this classic case that we had with 53 where he had... My thing with 53 is he started center way too early. He needed a season practicing snapping the football and NFL timing, NFL reps. But he was never going to be a guard, and I don't think that don't think that idea was a good experiment. By all accounts from our old colleagues at BTSC or Steelkirk Network, whatever it is now, they said, someone said there that the anecdote was that he wanted to play guard and they wanted him to play center. But so from that perspective, I want to see what they do with Spencer Anderson, because I don't want to give him I don't want the Steelers to give him too much to do, because then he'll get unsettled, and then he's a 7th round draft pick. You're wasting that guy. But Homer says, I can't wait to see McFarland. Yeah, I was talking about that a little while back. Maybe you're commenting on that part of it. But if you missed that, yeah, well, I was talking about McFarland too. I want to see that change of pace. And a lot of people, Mark and I did a show, was it back before the draft or just after the draft? And we talked about the connections on this team. Well, people don't know. Matt Canada was at Maryland in the coaching staff. Actually, I think it was when he was the head coach there, the interim head coach, when McFarland was there. So some of the best games he had at Maryland, like where he had like 350-something yards against Ohio State, that was when Matt Canada was in that offense. So who knows what McFarland could be. DL rotation. I talked about that in the show. People missed it yesterday around the 5 problems the Steelers have got to solve. Sorry about the deaths there. And I talked about the interior defensive line. We brought in Fahoko. We had Montrevious Adams from last season. We brought him back. Cut him. He saved $2 million, so he's got to prove himself. Armand Watts is listed at defensive tackle, not nose tackle. They didn't bring back Alualu, who said he wanted to play. You got Benton somewhere in the mix. I want to see this as well because the Steelers can't continue to just rely on Ogunjobi and Hayward. And Benton's got to be allowed to have his time as a rookie and not everything depend on him. We've seen the Steelers struggle sometimes in the last few years when there are key positions where they're just expecting the rookie every week. Now, we want to have high expectations of rookies. We want rookies to perform. But you've got to, at the same time, manage them and let them learn. You throw them into the fire for 90% of the snaps or 80% of the snaps, even 70% of the snaps, you're going to see problems there if that happens week in, week out. So, you've got to allow them to go on that journey and growth. You've got to allow them to play some snaps, taper back down, taper back up, all those different things. Wingstop. Do you know what I miss? I thought about this a while back. I thought about whether I should, try and get in contact and bring them to Australia. I'm a big Buffalo Wild Wings guy, man. I love Buffalo Wild Wings. It's one of the first things I do when I go to the US. Go eat some Buffalo Wild Wings. Freaking love it. I miss Buffalo Wild Wings. It's been too long. It's like almost 5 years now. It's ridiculous. Looking forward to seeing Benson. Okay, cool. Blue Nose are on the same sort of thinking along there with Michael O'Malley. That's the thing. Like a lot of people are going to be keen on watching the cornerbacks and wide receivers and the tight ends and the running backs and the quarterbacks. It's going to be in the trenches. The Steelers, if they can maul the Buccaneers in the trenches, that's a big tick for me after today's game. That's a massive tick after today's game. So, we'll see how that one goes. Homer Green, Calvin can be considered a rookie as well. He didn't even play. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So technically, this is his rookie season. The media will say it, year 2. But yes, from a statistics perspective, because he did not play, he can be rookie. Wait, I think the NFL might have actually changed that now. Definitely other American sports and NBA is like that. But yes, I'm pretty sure. Let me come back to you on that one in the comments later, Homer. But yes, I'm almost dead sure because he didn't play. It counts. Anyway, Pittsburgh Toddy says, got my beer and shrimp cocktail, loading up the bowl. Let's go. Actually, you know what? It is Homer because I was pulling some stats on quarterbacks a couple of months ago, and I talked about their first season based on games. And one of the quarterbacks was like 27, but he'd never started for a team. And he'd always been on practice squads or cut before the season. So, yes, it does count as his rookie year. I know. It's just I'm just thinking of things like Rookie of the Year award and stuff like that. But if he had an amazing year, they'd probably put him comeback player of the year unless there's a quarterback that, something like that. Pittsburgh Toddy, got my beer and shrimp cocktail, loading up the bowl. Ooh, shrimp cocktail. Nice. I heard someone the other day that said that they crab cocktails. That's what it was. I like crab too. Who do you guys think though? Mark and I have been having this debate off air a lot. Do you think it's Hakeem Butler or Boykin that fights their way onto the roster? Because that's the one that's hard to say with who's gonna, especially with special teams. But Hakeem Butler looks pretty good in training camp, I must say, as well. So who's fighting for this 5th to 6th wide receiver spot? Again, I don't have Gunner making the roster. I think they could look at like a young guy like Jordan Bird before they do that, who's more of a kick returner, punt returner, that listed as wide receiver. Quite a small fast twitch guy. Homer Boykin. Yeah, I'm on the Boykin train. I'm on the Boykin train from special teams. And he knows AFC North football. I think he's probably a better receiver, but Hakeem Butler might be better with the ball in his hand. But I don't judge someone off what they do in, he's from the XFL. And I also don't judge someone off what they do off just training pattern practice alone. Yeah, Boykin for special teams. Yeah, so in the 5, we obviously got Jonte Johnson, George Pickens, Allen Robinson, Calvin Austin, and then maybe it's Boykin. And we see for the next one. Particularly because Mark and I were talking about this again a week or two ago around people talk about how many wide receivers they're going to have, but they've got so many receiving targets when you've got like Connor Hayward and Darnell Washington and Pat Freiermuth and even Najee in the passing game. We saw that down the stretch last year, and by all accounts, that's been still happening in training camp this year. And then also Anthony McFarlane Jr. has caught a lot of balls as well. Even Big Ben was throwing to him. Remember on the last play of the game against Cleveland in that awful playoff game, Ben actually threw to Anthony McFarland on the 4th and 11 or 4th and 13. I think it was 4th and 13. And it was tipped out of his hands. Or he might, no, the ball touched his hands, but yeah, he couldn't catch it. Toddy says Butler might take it. Yeah. I mean, imagine if they keep them both. Massive guys. I love that. Particularly has got their small twitchy guys in Austin and kind of DJ to a lesser extent. So, yeah. Just trying to find the link for you for everyone for Marky D's thing so I can put it in. But how about another over and under I wanted to see as well, guys? How many rushing touchdowns do the running backs score in this week's game? In this game coming up against Tampa Bay, about to kick off. Just ask Mikey D there to send me the link for you guys or to jump into his live stream. But yeah, running backs, like, is it McFarlane that breaks through? Is it Warren? Is it Najee? I think out of all of them, I think it's going to be Warren. That's the guy I think is going to score more. And Marky D's going to go off because Marky D thinks he's going to get 1,000 yards. Warren's going to have 1,000 yards this season. So, yeah, maybe it's Warren that proves he's like the preseason specialist. So, yeah, we will see. But, yeah, I want to give you guys that link because Mark does awesome live streams. And I want to make sure we can all get in there. And you don't lose any time with the touchdown under guys, or the guys from touchdown under. But yeah, as well as that, if a lot of you guys are putting scores above 10 points, so that's going to assume that the Buccaneers score a touchdown. Do you think they're more likely to score a touchdown through the passing game, their defense, or their rushing offense? Because I don't know. I don't see it with their passing offense, but at the same time, I really don't want them to score a rushing TD because I want the Steelers to have tightened that part of their game up. So, yeah, it is interesting when I was thinking about what score I predict. How are they going to score points, and where is the vulnerability in the Steelers' defense going to be as well? Blue Nose, one score on the run by an RB, one received by an RB. Is that for us, Blue Nose? Or for them? Probably for us if you're talking about RBs because of Warren and Najee. But yeah, let me know. Do you give a list of players not playing tonight? We would if it was in season because obviously you've got the 3 players that are scrapped there. But this can go down to the wire and you hear a lot of different things. But the Steelers did put something out actually. Let me pull that actually up. Because I know that they did say a couple of guys. Actually, Cody White's another one that could be a sneaky one on this team. Let me look at injury report for you. They're not doing them because they don't have to. That's the other thing I should have said, Homer, too, is that because of the injury reports, like, don't have to be given in the same way that they do in season, it's actually very hard. Like, it's all rumor unless the team put out a actual piece of, like, a notice, like a press release or a media alert. And a lot of teams don't do that, the Steelers included. So there's stuff someone might say in an interview or something like that. But let me pull up. There's one other area I can check this. No, but when we get to previewing games in the season, we will definitely do that. That's an absolutely key thing. But yeah, no, right now, let's just see. As I said to someone way earlier in the show, I think it was Gavin, the Steelers, like, go off the depth chart that they released earlier in the week that's on the website. That's roughly, I think, how they're going to try and structure the guys on the field this season. Yeah, us. Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe it's Warren and Najee getting the receiving touchdown and Warren getting the running touchdown. Najee was the reverse. That'd kind of be cool. So yeah, all right. Well, the game's about to start. Hey, Dante, Matty, the man himself. I know it's preseason, but I got to be excited to see Silver Boy. 100%. Get freaking pumped. Well, game's about to start. You all got your beers, you got your shrimp cocktails. Marky D's got a live stream going you can find. So go grab that. Actually, you know what? We'll do a, you know what we'll do? We'll do a raid. Steelers Nation Australia. Let's go. Here we go. Dante, how you been, mate? While I poured us all over. How have you been? Let's do it. In. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'm so pumped. I'm so freaking pumped. I'm so freaking pumped. Let's do it. Here we go, raid. I'm trying to work out how I'm doing it. I've never. Oh, good to see Dante. Um, just working, saving money. Um, let me do it. How's this? This is not working for me. Where is Marky D? Where is Marky D? Why isn't this coming over? It is not working for me, which is kind of embarrassing live on there. Um, let me do this. Let me do this. All right, we're gonna port over. All of you guys are in the live chat with Marky D. So I'm gonna jump out. The link's in the live chat. Jump over to Marky D. I'll see you guys there in the live chat. Might even see you on screen if it brings me in at some point. Yeah, link is up. There we go. See you later. Enjoy.